Hello and welcome to The Gaggle, where we challenge and, if necessary, destroy media narratives. I'm George Szamuely. With me today, of course, is co-founder of The Gaggle, Peter Lavelle, host also of RT's talk show, Crosstalk. Well, Peter, yesterday, Bloomberg wrote an article claiming that the RNC, the Republican National Committee, had been hacked by Russian intelligence. And now, what was strange about this report is that the RNC itself denied that this has happened. So in other words, what the RNC said was that a vendor used by the RNC may have been exposed, but the RNC says that it was not hacked. It says, and it's quote, "There is no indication," says the spokesman for the RNC, "that RNC was hacked or any RNC information was stolen." And again, the RNC chief of staff says that it's only this vendor, Synex Corp, that has been breached. And then we immediately blocked of all access to Synex accounts. However, this didn't satisfy the New York Times, which leapt into action today with
like a spring.
Yeah, exactly. With another one of its articles by David Sanger, in which the headline, "Attempted hack of RNC and Russian ransomware attack test Biden." So here, again, it kind of ignores the RNC's own statement that it wasn't hacked. It was a vendor that it used that may have been exposed. And instead, it just blithely goes on talking about the RNC hack. And it says that early indications were that the culprit was Russia's SVR intelligence agency, according to investigators in the case. And it says the SVR is the group that initially hacked the DNC 6 years ago.
No evidence of that.
No, that's right. Now, the first couple of things about that is very strange because last week when we had the, which we talked about, that report by the FBI and GCHQ and NSA, they targeted the GRU. That's the GRU. GRU is leading this cyber war against the rest of the world. The New York Times seemed to go for the SVR. They like the SVR angle more than the GRU angle. Not that New York Times has any idea, but of course, as the New York Times, as you just pointed out, the claim that it was hacked, the DNC was hacked, there's no evidence of that. I mean, we had the hearings, the House Intelligence Committee hearings, in which the guy who was at that company, the
CrowdStrike.
Which one?
CrowdStrike.
Yeah, the CrowdStrike said, "We think that this was a Russia hack. We don't really know."
And there was no need for the FBI to look at it. Okay.
Right, exactly.
And then the FBI said, if you want to look at it, okay.
The point was here, the New York Times just simply takes it as axiomatic that this indeed happened. And that, now the question is, what's Biden going to do? Biden has drawn red lines for Putin in Geneva when they met now almost 3 weeks ago. So, this is, Putin is clearly slapping Biden in the face. So when you read articles such as this in the New York Times, they deliberately confuse everything. They confuse GRU, SVR, these ransomware hackers, government mandated or government sanctioned hacks, espionage, sabotage. All of it is just mixed into one big pot. And Putin is to blame. What's Biden going to do about it? And there's a classic piece in this part in this New York Times article. If I can find it. Yes, it says there, stronger measures have long been debated. That stronger measures against Russia have long been debated and occasionally used. When Russian intelligence agencies put malicious code into the American power grid in recent years, where it is believed to reside to this day, the United States in turn put a code into the Russian grid and made sure it was seen as a deterrent. Now, you think, well, I don't remember that. When did that happen? When did the Russians put these, these things?
It was, I'm sorry, debunked.
Yeah, but there it is. And then you look at the link, you tippy tappy tip, you go to the link. All the link says is that the United States has launched this, this was in 2019. The United States launched this cyber attack on the Russian power grid. Doesn't say anything about Russia having done this. I mean, if the New York Times just puts this in, oh, Russia did this, and the Americans responded. So what's really going, to compress it all, what's really happening here is there is a massive drumbeat from the intelligence services who are feeding their media allies with horror stories about how Putin is openly insulting the president of the United States by launching all these cyber attacks when he pretty promised in Geneva that he would do no such things. So it's deja vu all over again, Peter.
Well, I mean, we're told that Biden suggested, if that's the right word to use, 16 sectors that were off limits. Is the RNC one of those? Yeah, what the Democrats say?
What is in the RNC? I mean, like, what, our plans to attack AOC for the next 4 years?
I mean, it's just so funny on the face of it.
Right.
Also, let's look at the lay of the land right now. We're seeing Saigon, Afghanistan right now, right in front of our eyes. They don't let it report on it very much, okay? But it's there, and there's enough sources out there. Moon of Alabama, antiwar.com. I think some American conservative is following it. Okay, so it's happening before our eyes. They didn't get what they wanted out of the summit with Putin. And as far as gagglers are concerned, George and I are more or less satisfied with it. Things didn't get worse, okay? That's a plus, all right? For now, 3 weeks in. But now we see the intelligence community coming, fighting back, and they're using their minions in the media. Which what's his name? Sangar.
David Sanger.
I mean, he is go. I mean, this guy's got a track record all the way back to weapons of mass destruction.
Oh, yeah, even longer ago than that.
Yeah,
I mean, he's been there since forever.
This is buffoonish. I don't even should even use the word journalism here. I mean, this is just stenography. And also what it is, again, repeatedly, people want to get out of these foreign wars, particularly in the Middle East, okay? And the intelligence community, defense community, they're pulling their hairs out because no, we never leave anywhere, okay? And it's threat inflation, and they're getting the media to do it. That New York Times article is a complete disgrace. I mean, you and I just gave a quick read, okay? I mean, if we sat down and just deciphered every single sentence.
Absolutely. There's just so much there.
It is complete pure propaganda.
Yeah, no, that's right. So when we just quote this, this line, and you think, this is entirely made up. I mean, the Times just simply made it up. The Russians attacked the U.S. power grid. When did that happen? I mean, it's, they just put this in, and you think, wow, these terrible things. And then they claim that all these, it's now acknowledged that these are Russia-based organizations, these criminal gangs. How the hell does anyone know where a cyber gang is located? I mean, you can't do it. I mean, that's the whole point of these hacks. I mean, if you're hackers, you don't know, they come from anywhere.
Just to repeat, I don't want, to belabor the point, but I just want to repeat it because it's important. Intelligence agencies around the world, I don't care which country, okay? They all have basically the same mission, is that if they're using cyber tools, it is to garner information, not be caught, and stay in place to keep watching new information. Right. The government, I don't understand, and someone needs to explain to me why a government would sponsor directly or indirectly hackers to extort money, because that's not what intelligence community.
No, they don't, and the
do. That's not their. I mean, it's kind of a novel way, I guess, to make some extra cash.
But the sums we're talking about was so small. I mean, what was it?
Yeah,
like a couple of million. I mean, really, you're going to go to take these risks just for a couple of $1 million, it makes absolutely no sense. And again, all of these things, like let's say you're trying to sabotage some of these power networks. Why would you want to do that? I mean, it's an entirely destructive, pointless activity, and you're going to be subject to retaliation. I mean, it just makes no sense. Governments don't act in such a stupid way.
It's like after the First World War, it was universally agreed, using gas, nerve gas, all kind, mustard gas. It was like, don't do it. I mean, and hated enemies. Right. Don't do it because the air blows the wrong way. You get your own troops. You use it once, then your opponent's going to use it. They learned the lesson from the First World War. You just don't do that. The same thing applies here. I mean, you take the electricity grid out in like Michigan in the middle of the winter, and then you take it out in Moscow. People just suffer, and no one wins. And as far as I know, it's not even for ransom. So I mean, this is just nonsensical, and it is just it's on their brain. Okay, these people, they're just off in their head. Okay, because I keep saying this here, is that decrepit American infrastructure is America's fault. Okay. First and foremost, and we're seeing it all the time, over and over again. George, because of that building in Florida and Miami, I mean, some basic journalistic research was being done. The number of buildings that are at risk, it scared the hell out of people. I mean, the building, when the building that were the condominiums collapsed, they had to destroy the rest of the building. They had to evacuate the building next door because they didn't know what would happen. Okay, so you're talking about foreigners messing with your infrastructure, but you haven't been doing anything for your these buildings had to be checked every 40 years.
All right. The thing is, when you look at this world of cyber. What's clear from even just reading these articles in the New York Times is this is a burgeoning industry.
Yep.
All of these cybersecurity firms, what do? They are in the business of rustling up business. They're rustling up business.
Everywhere there are threats.
Exactly. So they have to persuade every company in the world, you are under terrible threat. Oh my God! Use our software, and so on. You're going to be destroyed. And then you have the experts. Again, who always quoted. He's a senior fellow at the CSIS, senior fellow at the American Enterprise Institute, and they're all pontificating on cybersecurity. This is the big thing. Clearly, Putin has decided this is going to be his main avenue of attack against the West. Now, please write me out a check. And and I hope lots of companies, as a result of this New York Times, are going to be calling me up and giving me nice fat consultancy fees. This is a really big racket. There's a lot of money here splashing around.
Yeah, and having a foreign adversary, a foreign threat, is the key to a business model here. Okay, but even if, I mean, again, John Podesta's password for his Gmail was password. I mean, it's these users that put themselves at risk. Okay, and again, we knew through after bogus reporting, congressional hearings, people had under oath. So did the Russians do it? Well, we don't know. Okay. Oh, but it was considered engraved in stone that it was in the media. And we're having it happen all over again. See, the intelligence community obviously had it out for Trump, okay? And people think, just because it's Biden and Biden's going to get along and all that. No, they don't take no for an answer. They just don't, okay? Right, and considering how fragile Biden is, we don't know who the decision makers in. They have their nightmare from hell called Kamala Harris. I mean, they see a weakness and an opening, and they're going to take full advantage of it, and they get their stenographers to do it for them.
But that's right, and that's why if you look at the Biden administration, this is pretty much staffed by Russophobes. I mean, these are russiagate alumni. And therefore, they're obviously going to go down this path. This is a familiar, well-trodden path for them. All sorts of evil is Moscow. The most evil man in the world is Vladimir Putin, and they're not going to let this go. Now, Biden personally, he may have some, living in some golden era, remembering happier days when he was a young man. He probably remembers, the 70s, Dayton, arms control agreements. They will think, yeah, let's go back to that wonderful time, when the girls were pretty, and and I had a few bob in my pocket. I mean, but the rest of the team, they don't think like that. I mean, these are big Russophones, and therefore they're going to keep banging this drum. I mean, and already, Geneva now seems so long ago.
Oh, no.
It's like, wow, was there really an amicable meeting in Geneva? It just seems so strange.
It's the same alumni of Russiagate. They're the ones that are writing the cards that Joe keeps going through his pockets. Oh, this one. Okay. I mean, that's breathtaking.
Right.
With softball questions, okay?
Yeah.
Again, they see a vulnerability and they're taking full advantage of it. I see no way in the world that Joe has a vision for anything except for hanging on till they can find someone to replace Kamala Harris.
Right. Yeah, that's right. And so that's why now they're in this position that they're being attacked by the New York Times. What are you going to do about Putin? Putin is testing you. He's really, he's testing your mettle. Are you a man or a mouse? Which is the thrust of the New York Times article. And then you've got the Republicans also. Are you a man or a mouse? When are you going to stand up to Putin? And so that's it. So this is a familiar drumbeat we've been through so many times before in the United States. What are you going to do about Saddam Hussein? Are you a man or a mouse?
You know what this is? It's shadow boxing, right. Isn't it?
Yeah.
It's throwing punches against the shadow.
Right.
You're fighting yourself. There's nothing there. Okay, it's exactly what they're doing.
Yeah.
And at all of our peril.
Right.
Okay?
Right. And that's why it is so strange that this is being driven by the media. I mean, Bloomberg first runs with this story, even though within that story, the RNC explicitly denies that it was hacked and any of its data had been stolen. It doesn't really matter. I mean, obviously the RNC was targeted. I mean, what the hell? And then the Times runs with it and say, yeah, this is all part of Putin's master plan. So this is just, you can see how the deep state, has its, out for the media, and the media just happily retail.
It would be really funny.
No evidence. Yeah.
It would be really funny if the same writers of that trashy article, they called up the RNC and say, we just clarify, were you hacked or not? No, we weren't hacked. But if we are to be hacked, we know who did it.
Oh, that's right, exactly.
That's the whole mentality right there. If the phone doesn't ring, it was me.
I know, yeah. Well, at first when I saw the headline, RNC hacked, I thought, hey, the RNC clearly wants to, we want to be with the cool kids. Only the cool kids got hacked. Now we're hacked as well. Hey! They did it, but the
care what Kevin McCarthy is saying? I don't. If we don't, why would the Russians care?
Right, yeah, exactly. Something like, this is the RNC strategy. We're going to go on and on about socialism for the next 4 years, and the rest of the time we're going to be attacking AOC. Whoa. You can imagine Kremlin. Wow, this is hot intelligence.
And then out to the flock. Any ideas on tax cuts and deregulation?
Exactly, and tax cuts. That's it. Yeah. This is highly classified stuff. Boy, we really got the mother load.
Pulling back the veil. It's all funny and farcical, but it just shows this drumbeat, and it just will not. We've said this for a long time since we started this, is that the policy implications of this hoax are wide and profound and very long lasting.
Yeah. No, exactly. I mean, we are, exactly where we are, and now, the pressure is on Biden, and you can bet that, within a few days, he's going to announce some kind of, we're going for sanctions against Putin, Now, let's invent some sanctions.
Well, I mean, we'll end on this here. I got kind of conflicting reports today, but for all intents and purposes, the Russians are out of the dollar. They are no longer putting that part of their strategic reserve. It's over. They're no longer, because as it was explained, the dollar has been weaponized, and Russia doesn't want to have anything to do with it. Right. And it's Other countries are following suit. The US is destroying its own currency because it has trivialized it by turning it into a weapon. It just,
Right. No,
I've never seen this in my life. I've never seen anything
that's
like
why
it.
when you read these articles, again, this Sanger article, when these experts were saying, well, these sanctions haven't been tough enough on Putin. You know, he hasn't really paid the price. We got to get tougher. What are you going to do? I mean, you know, they're already ready. They knew that they would be kicked out of the SWIFT system. They knew this. I mean, they've been preparing for this for several years. And, you know, and there's just an inevitability. So it's not going to hurt them. You ultimately, you don't have any means of hitting the Russians other than going to war. Well, is that the plan? I mean, maybe for some people that is, but otherwise, it's, you know, you might as well just shut up.
If you're watching CNN and MSNBC, it's all Russia, and then you watch Fox, it's all China. Okay, nobody wants to fix problems at home. Okay, that's why we have this here. Okay? It's really, you know, choose your enemy media. You know, that's who, you know, if you want to hate on the Russians, you know where to go. You want to hate on the Chinese, you know where to go. Okay, and that's why people come to us, because we don't do either.
We don't do either. All right, where can we be found?
We're on Locals right now. We're very happy there. It's a nice new home, new community. You can find us at thegaggle.locals.com. George and I, we're doing it today, right? You and I.
We have one right after this. We're going to be talking to a
doing one-on-one Zoom chats with gagglers. It's really a lot of fun. We really enjoy it. Also, we have the Gaggle store about to make its entrance, and I think you'll really like it. We're using Buddy, exploiting his image to the hilt, okay? And so we have commerce coming out. And what else? And we, of course, have a tip jar, okay?
The tip jar, absolutely.
Let it overflow with love.
Let it overflow, and it's helping us enormously. You know, the more you can help us, you know, the better the product will produce. So we're also on Rumble. Please look us up on Rumble. And remember, if you like the Gaggle, please like, share, and subscribe. See you soon. Bye.